So have you ever wondered if there's any real science behind manifesting your dreams? Well, there is. But, spoiler alert, it has nothing to do with magic and everything to do with the specific wiring of your brain. Let's get into it.
And that is the key right there. Your brain already has these incredibly powerful systems built in that literally determine whether a dream stays a dream or if it becomes your reality. We're going to show you exactly how to tap into them.
Okay, so let me tell you this quick story. A few years back, I just kind of decided, you know what, I want a silver Audi. Now, I'd never really paid any attention to them before, but the very next morning, they were everywhere. I mean, I saw one on my street, then another at the stoplight, then a third one in the grocery store parking lot. And I'm not kidding. For a split second, I was like, wait, did my neighborhood secretly hit the lottery? Was there some kind of memo I missed? It was genuinely bizarre.
But of course, that wasn't it. The number of Audis on the road hadn't magically increased overnight. What changed was my brain. The second I set a clear, specific target, silver Audi, I gave my brain's internal filter a new job. It started highlighting what was always there, I just hadn't been programmed to notice it. And that, in a nutshell, is the neuroscience of manifesting.
All right, so first up, let's tackle the biggest myth of all. This idea that you can just wish for something and the universe is going to drop it on your doorstep. That is just not how our brains are built to operate.
Look, your brain, it just doesn't work like Amazon Prime. You can't just click Add to Cart on your dream life and expect it to show up in 2 days. And when you try to, you fall into some really common traps.
And there are two big ones. Trap number one is just pure daydreaming. You know, you picture the end result, but you never actually build the mental wiring to spot the real-world opportunities to get there. The second trap, toxic positivity. This is when you try to force yourself to believe something that your brain deep down knows isn't true. And you know what it does? It just shuts down.
So without a clear, specific target that actually engages your brain's filtering systems, your dream just kind of floats around. It ends up being this pretty, but totally useless screensaver for your mind.
Okay, so if just wishing is a dead end, then what actually works? Well, it all comes down to understanding the 3 big players inside your brain that are responsible for turning a simple goal into your actual reality. Okay, first up is something called the reticular activating system, or RAS, and I absolutely love this analogy for it. Think of it as the bouncer at the nightclub of your mind. It's constantly sorting through billions of pieces of information, and it only lets what it thinks is important past the velvet rope and into your conscious awareness. If you don't tell it, hey, we're looking for silver Audis tonight, your dream won't even get on the list.
Next up, we've got the dopamine reward loop. You can basically think of this as your brain's built-in do-it-again button. Every time you take a small step towards your goal and you actually acknowledge it, your brain gives you a little hit of dopamine. This literally trains your brain to crave progress, making you want to do it again and again and again.
And then the third piece of the puzzle, the one that holds it all together, is neuroplasticity. This is literally your brain's ability to change its own structure, kind of like Play-Doh. When you combine a clear vision with strong emotion and repeated action, you physically carve new neural pathways. You're making your goal feel more and more familiar and achievable to your brain.
And here's the wild part. Your brain doesn't really know the difference between something you vividly imagine and something you actually do. By rehearsing your goal over and over in your mind with real feeling, you are literally wiring yourself to become the person who achieves it. What you rehearse, you become.
Okay, so that's the science, the why behind it all. But now for the fun part, the how. Let's turn all this cool neuroscience into a simple, actionable method you can actually use, like tonight. So that's the million-dollar question, right? How do we actually do this? How do we get these incredible systems in our brain, the RAS, the dopamine loop, neuroplasticity, to work for us instead of just letting them run on autopilot?
It's actually a pretty straightforward 3-step process. Seriously. Step 1, clarity. You have to get hyper-specific. Give your brain that clear target. Step 2, emotional encoding. You have to tie a powerful feeling to that goal. Emotion is the glue that makes it stick. And step 3, action and feedback. Take tiny actions and then, this is crucial, celebrate them to get that dopamine system firing.
Now, all this theory is great, but let's look at how it works in the real world. I have a friend who decided she wanted to run a marathon, and trust me, at the time, this seemed completely impossible. We're talking about someone who would get winded walking up a flight of stairs.
But she didn't just wish for it. She followed this exact process. Her goal was crystal clear. I will run a marathon next year.
She connected a really deep emotion to it. She was running it in honor of her father. And she celebrated every single small win, from running her first mile to buying her first real pair of running shoes. And guess what? 12 months later, she crossed that finish line. It wasn't magic, it was neuroscience.
All right, now here's the thing. When you really start applying this method, something incredible begins to happen. It's more than just a technique, it's a total shift in how you see everything.
And this is the secret right here. You realize you're not trying to bend reality to your will. You're actually just bending your own perception to finally see the opportunities and the doors that were open the entire time.
And that's when the momentum really kicks in. Once your brain is wired and looking for the right things, the process gets its own energy. That thing that once felt totally impossible, it starts to feel, well, inevitable.
So I've got a challenge for you. I want you to make this real for yourself, starting tonight. First, write down your dream in one single, clear sentence. Second, close your eyes, visualize it, and really feel the emotion of having it. And third, tomorrow, just take one tiny action toward it, and then celebrate that you did it. That's it. That's how you start the process.
Because ultimately, that's what this is all about. The real power isn't somewhere out there in the cosmos, it's right between your ears. So stop waiting for the universe to deliver. It's time to start training your brain.
Don't miss this. Click the link in the description now to get your copy of The Truth About Life You Were Never Taught. It might just be the missing piece you've been waiting for. If this resonated with you, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell for more insights like this. See you in the next episode, and thank you for watching.